Peace and love, everybody. Good morning. Thanks for being here today, joining me in morning meditation. Hey, Pauline. So, super simple. I think that I needed to get back to a little bit of basics here for people who might be just joining us and don't know how to meditate in a regular sort of basic way. So, it's very simple. But before I tell you how simple it is, let's talk about some of the results that come from this. One of the most poignant results from a daily practice of meditation is responding instead of reacting in circumstances of your life when your buttons get pushed. You have an opportunity because you've developed this practice to take a breath and slow yourself down. Even as your anger rises, your anxiety rises, or your fear rises, because you will have practiced breathing on a regular basis. And I know that sounds strange. I remember the first time that somebody said to me, "You need to practice to breathe." This was in high school. I think it was my junior year. This school counselor said, "You have to practice breathing." And I thought, what are you talking about? I've been breathing my whole life. This is a little different. This is the breath in with concentration and focus, and the breath out with concentration and focus. And it rewires the brain over time. And over time, it brings peace to your life. It builds a belly full of peace. It allows you to then dispense that peace during the day, and it allows you to refill that peace. It changes relationships because if you're a volatile person, for instance, and you want to control your volatility, it gives you an opportunity to practice breathing so that you can, instead of, as I mentioned, reacting, you can respond with a breath in between. Or, for instance, maybe you're a person who says, "Oh, I can't meditate. It's way too hard." Well, it's yes, there is some difficulty with it, but this technique, which employs a word or a phrase or a breath, and this is going back pretty far for my friends who have been here with me for quite a while. Hi, Pauline, and I'll get back to you today, Pauline. It was a crazy busy weekend. Next on my list after this. So it's very, very simple. You take a word or a phrase, a mantra or a chant, and it can be something significant and sacred for you if that's what you want. That sacredness reminds you why you're there. There's a divine aspect to this, a large divine aspect to this. But it doesn't even have to be a phrase or a word that's sacred. It could be anything that has less meaning. So a number seven, or the color green, for instance, things that have a little bit of meaning, but they're not specifically tied to your life. And the simple part of this is that you just follow your breath with it. You ride it on your breath, and I use this example all the time. There's like a butterfly on on your palm, and you just ride your palm down with a butterfly on it to your belly, and back up out your nose, and you in your nose and down into your belly, and in your nose. That's backward. In your nose and down into your belly. So what happens is when your mind wanders off on all sorts of different thoughts, memories in the past, or thoughts about the future, or anxieties that you're carrying with you, or ruminations, or self recriminations, or earworms that you get music stuck inside your head. Anytime your mind wanders off in the middle of this meditation practice, simply ignore those wanderings and come back to your word, your chant, and your breath, and continue to do that over and over again every single time your mind wanders off. And it might wander off 1,000 times or 10,000 times. If I don't have a good night's sleep, for instance, I've been meditating for 40 years, but if I haven't had a good night's sleep and I get up in the next morning and I'm trying to concentrate, it's difficult for me to concentrate. I have to focus my mind, and my mind will wander off a little bit, and I'll bring it back. And eventually I'll get back into my practice. So even someone who's been practicing for a long time, the mind tends to wander. Always just bring it back with with your prayer, with your chant, with your mantra, and your breath. The two in tandem. That's why it works. It's controlling your thinking. And that's the monkey mind doesn't want that. So that's the best way to fight against the monkey mind, is to use it against itself. And that is simply to focus it on a single thing. The benefits in the world are peace and less reactivity, among other things. Spiritually speaking, the benefits are immense. They create a hollow space inside yourself for, in the Christian language, for the Holy Spirit to dwell, in other languages, to grow the chi inside yourself, to allow space for prana to expand, to find your subtle body and allow yourself to have access to your chakras and creates connections between them and radiate space of the divine outside yourself. The benefits are immeasurable. Erasing all your communications. I'm confusing you. Oh, I see. You're not talking to me. It's in the chat. All right, all right. I'm not confusing anybody, I don't think. So it's quite simple. Good morning, Kendall. Good morning, Kendall. All right. I should check over and see what's going on. Hey, Sarah. I'll look in the chat for a second here. Thank you for helping me transcend your monkey mind. Yeah, it's really a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool to control your thinking. Because a lot of times depression and anxiety, those are ruminations and they repeat and they repeat and they repeat over inside your head. Oh, I'm a bad person, or I'll never make it, or this thing is scaring me. This is a way to tamp that down, to escape it, to have respite from your own mind, and to bring peace that is eventually going to develop into a lasting, permanent peace that lives inside of you. As you focus, I was talking about spirituality, as you focus into this oneness, this one place inside yourself, as you focus your mind, your prayer word will fall away, your mantra will fall away, and you'll be just left with breath, following your breath, listening to your breath, feeling your breath. The power of that is non-linguistic. You don't have any thoughts running through your mind anymore. And that is an opening into the now. It's an opening into peace. And then as the breath quiets way down into this almost not breathing space, that's a greater space for peace to be inside yourself. And it's an accumulation over time. We've gone over all this stuff before. This is a little bit of a primer for folks who might be just joining us. I hope everything's okay over there with XXL. And great. Very hard to quiet the monkey mind. PL, it takes practice and it trains the brain. It is hard to quiet the monkey mind. And the last thing it wants to do is quiet down. And so you can't yell at it, shut up, quiet down. That never works. You have to use it against itself. And the time tested techniques, it's not my technique. I've been using it for 40 years, but it's not, I didn't invent it. And it is a simple thing. It's using the breath and the words to lock the mind into a certain place. And it's hard to keep it consistently, but through practice the brain rewires and it becomes easier and easier over time. It's the same thing like muscles. When if you need exercise and you go out for a 20-minute brisk walk every day you get stronger. It's the same thing with the brain. 20 minutes of meditation time every day, the brain gets stronger and more capable of doing this, and it gets easier as you go along, and you don't huff and you puff anymore when you're walking up the hill because you've been doing it for so long every day, 20 minutes. And the same thing with meditation. Your brain is more easily controlled. And so you're using the power of the brain to focus, to control itself. Keep at it. You don't need to worry about really quieting it. Just focus on your word. Just focus on your breath. And every time your mind wanders, every single time you finally see, oh, my mind's wandering, at that very moment, come back to your prayer, come back to your breath again and again and again. It seems like it's hard to, make progress because progress is incremental, but it does all add up. I promise you that, because it works for everyone who is able to stick with it. It's really a stick to it-ishness thing. All right. I guess that's enough of that. Any other comments or questions? All right. Thanks for the email there, Catherine. I appreciate it. All right. Hey, Siri, set a 20-minute timer. 20 minutes is all it really takes of regular practice. You can fit 20 minutes in a day. And we'll be done. These practices that we have are half hour long because I talk a little bit and I wear a mask because I like to quiet down the light, remove all the distractions that I can remove. My feet are flat on the floor, my back is straight, my spine is erect, my hands are on my lap in this mudra. We begin with 3 ohms to join us together using our vocalization, feeling our heart and our throat and our brow as we drive the up to the brow. Here we go. Peace and love to you all. Thanks for being here. Hi, Susie. Peace.